Name of the story: The Black Cat. Just like every other day, Jilam walked out of her house gate and headed towards the main road. And that's when she saw that black cat. It was sitting under a tree by the road and looked at her with its big, glassy green eyes and mewed softly at her. Jilam felt like loving the cat. She found her very cute. But right at that moment, the school bus arrived and she had to board it urgently. As her bus left, she looked back and was amazed to see that the cat was sitting there and was still looking at the moving bus. It was a gloomy, rainy morning. Jilam observed that most of her classmates did not come. She sat quietly and attended the classes. She was feeling very sad and lonely, rather gloomy, like the overcast sky. On top of it, maths teacher Mrs. Ghosh uh, took a surprise test. Jilam is not good with maths, and these days she just can't understand this subject even more. She was not able to solve any sums. She felt scared and embarrassed. God only knows what she will have to hear from the terror Mrs. Ghosh. She let out a deep sigh. Things would have been so different if mom was there with her. She used to make things so easy for her. Jilam's mom used to be a school teacher and her father worked for an ad agency. What a wonderful family they had. Days were filled with fun and laughter. But it all ended after Mo Auntie came to Kolkata for her higher studies. Mo Auntie used to be her mom's cousin, and mom offered her to stay with them and do her studies. The college was close to their place, and they had a big house with an extra room. But little did her mom knew that this decision will become such a big disaster for her. Mo Auntie was young and was very attractive, the kind of women men found irresistible. And unfortunately, Jilam's dad fell for her. Initially, their bonding took off like a normal bond that existed between a brother in law and a sister in law, pulling each other's legs and cracking jokes. But slowly, their relationship took a spin in a different tangent. It seemed that they crossed a limit. Mom and dad had occasional fights over this, but that did not stop anything. Instead, dad went ahead spending nights in sea resorts or jungle resorts in weekends with Mo Auntie. This was too much to take for mom, and one day a huge fight happened between mom and dad. Dad then asked for a divorce. Please leave me. I want to end this marriage as I want to marry Mo, he screamed. To this, mom gave a cold stare and said, I will never give you a divorce. I will never let Jilam face the consequences of this. Mo Auntie left the house and went away to some other place. Things kind of fell in normal track. But then one day, when Jilam came home from school, she saw a huge crowd in front of her house. There were police and all the people of the neighborhood. Once she came closer to the house, she got to know that Ma is no more. She died while cooking lunch due to cooking gas leakage. She saw the black, charred body of her mom being lifted in the ambulance. After her mom's funeral, her dad decided to leave the house and they moved to a different place. Her dad then married Mo Auntie within a year. Jilam quickly changed and went to the dining table. Today, she eats alone and it is really sad. It makes her very miserable. She can't get over the amazing feeling she used to have after coming from school when her mom used to wait for her to have lunch together. Her eyes welled up as she gulped the insipid cold food as she looked at her mom's picture in the wall. That's when she heard some rustling noise from the bushes in the backyard. Jilam went up to see, and she was pleasantly surprised to see that the same black cat she met in the morning was sitting there and softly mewing. Jilam thought maybe the poor thing is hungry. She instantly bought a bowl of milk for the cat. The cat moved towards her as she caressed her head gently. Jilam was not aware when she slept off. She got up when the calling bell rang. It was almost evening. The bell rang again. Who can it be? Cause mom and Moma she will come after 10 p.m. She walked up to the door to open. She was amazed to see that Obirubda, her maths teacher of the private coaching center, was standing there. Oh, Obida, you? Jilam asked. Yes, I had some time today, hence thought of giving you a private tuition. Jilam felt that there was something strange in his voice. She still was confused as to why will a coaching center teacher will come home to teach. But by that time, Obirup almost pushed Jilam and entered inside. It was dark inside the room and Jilam tried to reach out to the switchboard to switch on the lights. But right at that moment, Abhirubda caught her from behind. It was so sudden that Jilam got scared and instinctively she tried to move away from him when his claw-like hand pulled the right sleeve of her frock and tore it off. Jilam let out a cry, "Oh, Ma, help me!" And right at that time, they could hear an angry snarl inside the room. Jilam was amazed to see that it was that black cat. It slowly walked towards Abhirubda. The cat's green eyes were burning ominously, and with every step it grew in size and then sprang at him. Abhirubda fell and let out a cry of pain and tried to release himself from the black cat. In the meantime, Jilam ran out of the house and went to her neighbor Shapna auntie. Shapna auntie immediately called other neighbors and headed towards Jilam's house. When they reached, they were not ready to see the shocking sight. They saw that Abhirup was writhing and screaming in pain on the floor, blood streaming out of his face, and a black cat was sitting beside him, licking its bloody paws. When they switched on the lights, it looked up and vanished in the darkness through the back door. The neighbors understood the entire situation and called the police. While Abhirup was being handcuffed and hurled out of the house, Jilam looked at her mom's pic. Tears welled up in her eyes. She was damn sure that the black cat was no one but her dead mom, who is still there with her like a pillar. The end.